Welcome back, everybody. You don't see it in the NFL and you don't see it anywhere else. It's the Fifth Down Podcast. It is me, Colin Dixon, here today without Zach. Our boy Zach got in a little bit of trouble and he was not able to make it, but I'm here for our 9 subscribers to give you the best football content on the face of the earth. So we're going to get right into it. A little quick overview of a week 4 that we just went through. As we always go through, me and Zach always have the teams we pick. Zach and I tied for the next week in a row. Zach is still winning by 1. I almost beat him this week, but I picked the Bengals for some reason, and they failed me. But we're going to get right into it. Eagles-Packers on that Thursday night matchup. Both Zach and I took the Packers. But the Eagles came out and they took over Lambeau Field. Aaron Rodgers had a late pick at the end of the game to seal the game for the Eagles. I mean, you look at guys like Jordan Howard, a big game. I luckily had him starting in my fantasy lineup for some reason. But man, what an impact he had for the Eagles. 87 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, couple catches in the air for 28 yards. I mean, he was great for the Eagles. On the other side of the ball, you had Aaron Rodgers, 422 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, you look at the game from Davante Adams, 10 receptions, 180 yards. No touchdowns, though, but he had a great game until he got hurt. But, I mean, the Eagles went into Lambeau, gave the Packers their first loss. What a Thursday night football game. Probably the first great Thursday night football game of many coming this year. The next game, Titans-Falcons. Both Zach and I had the Falcons again, and we ended up on the losing side. I mean, you can't trust these Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan, no touchdown passes. They only had 1 touchdown in the whole game, and it was a 1-yard run. But look at the Tennessee Titans. They won week 1. Everyone was like, they're for real. Then they lose 2 games. Everyone's like, they're not for real at all. A.J. Brown, 2 touchdown passes, 94 yards. Marcus Mariota, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 227 yards. Derrick Henry gets 100 on the ground. I mean, what a game for the Titans. They snag a win in Atlanta, and they end up at 2-2. Quickly moving on to Patriots-Bills. This is a game that Zach and I disagreed on. He went with his boy Josh Allen and the Bills at home, but Bills Mafia could not get it done against the Patriots. Josh Allen ended up going down, forcing Matt Barkley to come in the game, but Josh Allen had a rough game. 3 interceptions, only 153 yards for when he was in the game. His counterpart, Tom Brady, only had 150 yards, but he threw an interception. It was a very vital interception that was down on the goal line. But, I mean, the Patriots' defense is what kept them in this game. They had a blocked punt for an 11-yard return that made it 13-0 at one point. And then the only touchdown that they given up was the Josh Allen 1-yard touchdown in the third quarter. I mean, the Patriots have gone all year with only giving up 1 touchdown, and it was in that game. Unbelievable start for the Patriots as they are 4-0, but Buffalo Bills still riding high at 3-1. Going in this week facing the Titans, but we'll get into that later. Next game, Chiefs-Lions. The Chiefs went into the Lions, who were 2-0-1. Had a tough game. Patrick Mahomes, his first NFL start since his first ever NFL start, where he did not throw a touchdown at all. He still had 315 yards in the air, but his counterpart, Matt Stafford, outplayed him. 291 yards with 3 touchdowns in the air. I mean, the Lions gave the Chiefs a run for their money, but a late touchdown with 23 seconds left on the clock for the Chiefs, and the Chiefs come out with a victory. They come out at 4-0. They won 34-30. I mean, LaShawn McCoy carried them on the ground, 56 yards, 1 touchdown. But, I mean, the Chiefs had a little bit of a scare, but they come out on the road. Big win for them. Next game, Raiders at Colts. Everyone was ruling out the Raiders. But they came into Indianapolis and gave the Colts a run for their money and took out the Colts and got a W. I mean, Jacoby Brissett, 265 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But Derek Carr, his counterpoint, 2 touchdowns. I want to talk about their first drive. I was watching it with my family, and the craziest thing was they look great. Derek Carr, every single pass he had was completed, and he threw a dime into the end zone, and they looked really good. I looked at my mom and I said, Raiders aren't winning. No way, no way. As we keep checking, the Raiders still have the lead, and then when the game's over, Raiders end up on top. I mean, Raiders are 2-2. Derek Carr actually looked really good in this game. Josh Jacobs had 79 yards. That Darren Waller guy from Hard Knocks still looks good, 53 yards, 7 receptions. I don't know how good the Raiders are going to be, especially in that tough division that they're in. But I mean, another win in the column, 2-2. They're starting off pretty solid, average. Moving to the next game, Chargers Dolphins. Chargers went into Miami. The spread on that game was 15.5. Chargers won 30-10. I mean, the Chargers struggle all the time going back east, but they went into a struggling Miami Dolphins who just look like they can't win a game. I mean, Josh Rosen let him down to the field on the first drive, got a touchdown. The Dolphins had their first lead of the whole entire season. They couldn't hold on to it, though, as Phillip Rivers, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Austin Eckler's last game as the one running back for the Chargers, 60 yards, 1 touchdown. Chargers get Melvin Gordon back this week. He practiced last week. He wasn't ready for this week. You will see him in action this coming Sunday. Next game, Redskins Giants. My bad. Danny Dimes leads the Giants back to another victory, 24-3. This one was not as pretty as last week, though. 1 touchdown pass, but 2 interceptions for Danny Dimes. His counterpart, the guy who was drafted just a little bit after him, Dwayne Haskins, finally got some action, though. 3 interceptions for the rookie quarterback. The Redskins just look awful, man, and it's disgusting to look at. But bright side for the other side is the Giants we touched on. They lost Saquon Barkley last week, but Wayne Gallman steps in, the old Clemson running back, 63 yards, 1 touchdown, multiple catches in the air for Gallman. And, I mean, the Giants look good. Ever since Daniel Jones has taken over, they have been undefeated. And they're going to keep rolling into next week. They have a big game against the Vikings this week. It'll be at the Meadowlands again. Moving on to one of the biggest games from last week, Browns at Ravens. Zach is known to love the Browns, but the Ravens were at home, and both me and Zach took the Ravens, but the Browns proved them wrong. 40-25. If that's not a statement, I don't know what one is. Baker Mayfield, 342 yards, 1 touchdown, but that 1 interception. Nick Chubb, have a game, sir. 20 carries, 165 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, they went into Baltimore. Everyone was doubting them. Everyone was saying Baltimore is the best team in that division. The Browns went in there and took control, 40-25. Lamar Jackson, 3 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. He hasn't played great defenses, and he's done great. But Lamar Jackson can't do it on his home field. I mean, the Ravens I still think are a legit team, but the Browns have proved that they are a legit team. They got a big Monday night showdown against the 49ers this coming week. Will be interesting to see how that one plays out, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Next game, Panthers-Texans, the most forgotten about game of the week. Not much offense. I mean, neither quarterback had a touchdown pass. Deshaun Watson only 160 yards in the air. Kyle Allen 232 yards in the air. But Christian McCaffrey 93 yards, 1 touchdown, and 86 yards in the air. I mean, this game was field goal, touchdown, field goal. Panthers come out on top 16-10. I mean, Houston, you can't give up sacks. I mean, so many sacks. It's unbelievable. You look at this. The Panthers defense had 6 sacks in total and 8 tackles for loss. You can't win a football game when you have 14 tackles go behind the line of scrimmage. Unbelievable. Moving on to the next game, Seahawks-Cardinals. Seahawks went into Arizona, took care of business. I mean, Kyler Murray doesn't have much help, 241 yards, 1 interception. But, I mean, you can't do much when you don't have a lot of help. Russell Wilson still looks great, 240 yards, 1 touchdown. Chris Carson, 100 yards on the ground. I mean, Seahawks look good going into this Thursday matchup against my Rams. We'll get into the Rams game just a little bit later. Vikings-Bears. Vikings put up a 6 spot. That's it. Kirk Cousins is average. Adam Thielen does not like his quarterback because he doesn't throw him the ball. But you look at the other side. Mitch Trubisky got hurt. Chase Daniel steps in, 195 yards, 1 touchdown for the backup QB. I think the Bears are still in good hands with Chase Daniel, but their defense continues to look amazing. Khalil Mack is unbelievable, man, and that defense with HaHa Clinton Dix in the back. They're great. 16-6 victory for the Bears. Next game, Jaguars-Broncos. Minshew mania is real. And I'm telling you, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns. You look at the guy, Leonard Fournette, who just loves Minshew. 225 yards on the ground. But you look at this. Going into halftime, Denver was up 17-6. Minshew throws a touchdown, 17-13. Minshew throws another touchdown, 20-17. Jacksonville leads now. Then they kick a field goal, 23-17. Courtland Sutton catches a touchdown with minute 32 left for the Broncos to take the lead, 24-23. Minshew leads them all the way down the field, game-winning field goal, 26-24. The mustache is magical, and the Broncos could not handle him. And the Broncos fall to 0-4. But to the game that means most to me, near and dear my heart, the Rams were playing the Buccaneers. This game should have been 100-0 for my Rams. And they lost, 55-40. Jared Goff threw 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. This year in total, he has 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. His total QBR is 39.5. That is the 26th best in all of the NFL. I'm going to go on a little rant here. Jared Goff just signed the biggest guaranteed contract in NFL history. Patrick Mahomes is going to break that very soon. I know. But Jared Goff is the most average, if even worse, quarterback in all of the NFL. I disliked him so much when he came into the league because he was awful. And he continued to get a little bit better. But the reason he got better was because the people around him. You add Cooper Kupp, you add Robert Woods, you add Brandon Cooks, Todd Gurley, guys like that into your offense and a decent offensive line, you're going to do good. Anybody who can pitch and catch the football is going to do well in that offense. Sean McVay sets up every single quarterback great in that offense. But Jared Goff continues to somehow mess it up. Are you kidding me? 3 touchdowns? He threw 3 interceptions. He threw more interceptions than he threw touchdowns in this game. I even tweeted at the Dolphins saying, "Do you guys want a quarterback? I want one of your first-round draft picks so we can take a quarterback in this next draft." I strongly believe that Jared Goff is the absolute waste of that money. I still think he's going to have an okay season this year. He's going to end with more touchdowns than interceptions. The Rams are still going to make the playoffs. They're going to still make a run for a Super Bowl because of the guys who are on the team that are not named Jared Goff. And that coach, Sean McVay, is an offensive mastermind. But when your quarterback cannot hit your receivers that are wide open and he continues to throw into triple coverage where it's going to be picked off every single time, you're not going to go anywhere. Hence this exact game. But it wasn't just Jared Goff in this one. The defense gave up so many points. 55 points. I get some of that was scored on defense. And some of that was set up from the interceptions and fumbles from Jared Goff. But it is unbelievable that you give up that many points to a Buccaneers offense that is led by Jameis Winston, who continues to always throw interceptions. He even threw a pick 6. He gave us points. It's unbelievable. But, you look at things like the positives for Tampa Bay. 385 yards and 4 touchdowns from Jameis Winston. They scored on every single drive in the first half. 3 field goals and 3 touchdowns. That's unbelievable. You scored 28 in the first, it's unreal. Unreal. But, what can you say? It's only 4 games in the season. The Rams are still at 3-1. Can't take it too seriously, but, you got to be better, Rams. Got to be better. Moving into the Sunday night game where only 1 touchdown was scored. Dallas Cowboys at New Orleans. 12-10 final. New Orleans won, but the Cowboys were the only one to score a touchdown, and Will Lutz got 4 field goals. But, Dallas Cowboys could not get it going. Dak Prescott, 223 yards in the air, 1 interception, no touchdowns. Teddy Bridgewater, 193 yards in the air, 1 touchdown. When you can't score touchdowns, you're not going to win football games. I get it. But the Saints, their defense is great. You hold the Cowboys, who everyone was just raving about, to 1 touchdown, 10 points in total. They're saying Kellen Moore was going to take over the team and lead the Cowboys to a Super Bowl and everything like that. I get it. They could win the NFC. They could run the table. They could be a great team this year. But you can't go into a hostile environment and only put up 1 touchdown, and outside of that 1 touchdown, only 1 field goal. 10 points does not win you football games in the NFL. Neither should 12 points, but, I mean, the Saints got it done. Their defense looked great. But you look at it, Saints look fine with Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, everyone was like, oh, they're going to hit a bump in the road. They got tough games. They've won the 2 tough games so far, Seahawks and then the Cowboys. I mean, the Saints are taking care of business. Teddy Bridgewater is one of the best backup quarterbacks. It proves why you go out and pay your backup quarterbacks to stay instead of go try to venture somewhere else and play on a bad team. But Teddy Bridgewater is carrying that team well. I think they're going to go in. They're going to go win some more games. I mean, you look at it. They got the Buccaneers, they got the Jaguars, and they got a big game against the Bears. Bridgewater is going to carry them 2 more victories, I think, in those next 2 games, and it'll be a good game against the Bears. But that's enough for that game. Moving on to the Monday night game that I don't want to touch on that much. This is a game that cost me the lead in this picks battle. I took the Bengals for some reason for my Auntie Darcy, but she told me to stop picking them because they have failed me time and time again, and they have failed her time and time again. Steelers won 27-3. Andy Dalton continues to play horrible. 171 yards in the air, 1 interception. I mean, your running back had 62 yards, but that interception was costly down in the red zone. I mean, it's unbelievable. 27 points. That defense on Pittsburgh, meanwhile, looks great, but James Conner, 21-yard pass, runs it in. 43-yard pass touchdown by Mason Rudolph. Rudolph looks fine. 229 yards, 2 touchdowns. Big Ben looks funny on the sidelines, but Mason Rudolph gets it done against a crappy team. I know. But the Steelers look like they could possibly run the table a little bit against some of their opponents so far this year. But we are moving into Week 5. We are a quarter way done with the season. Almost every single team has played 4 games. We're looking good. We've got 3 undefeated teams left. The Chiefs, the Patriots, and Zach's 49ers. They've only played 3 games. They're 3-0. I'm not a believer in them, and I don't think I ever will be until they make it to the playoffs. Anyways, moving into this Thursday night football, my Rams are taking on the Seahawks in Seattle. It's a big game. The Rams got to prove something. They got to go out there and show everybody that they're legit. I mean, the offense hasn't looked great all year. The defense has looked pretty solid, and then last week they just put up a dud and gave up all these touchdowns. But Russell Wilson and the Seahawks are coming for the Rams' head. I mean, it was their division, and the Rams came and swooped it out from them, and the Seahawks are going to try to take it back. They added a guy like Jadeveon Clowney at the beginning of the season so they can compete with teams like the Rams. But it's in Seattle. It's going to be a big game. Of course I got my Rams. What's new? But Zach's got the Seahawks. This is one of our different games. This week we differ on 5 picks this week. This will be a fun one to watch. I guarantee you it'll be a great Thursday night matchup, and I guarantee you the Rams will come out on top. Moving into the Sunday slate. One of the morning games, Cardinals at Bengals. It's a battle of teams who have not won a single game yet. Bengals are favored by 3 points. I think it's just because they're at home, but Zach and I both got the Cardinals going on the road, and Cliff Kingsbury comes out with his first NFL victory. Next game, Bills at Titans. Josh Allen is a little bit of a question mark. He's still in concussion protocol, but we aren't really sure how it's going to go. The Bills are confident in Matt Barkley, and so am I. I'm going Bills. Zach is going Titans. We don't really know if the Titans are for real yet. They're 2-2. One of the most average teams in football. You know, Mike Vrabel, great coach, great guy. Zach's got the Titans at home. I got the Bills. Next game, Bears at Raiders. The Raiders kind of shocked everybody. This game will be at home. Bears go in there. Bears are rolling. They have a backup quarterback in Chase Daniel, but both Zach and I are believers in Chase Daniel and believe the Bears are going to come into Oakland and demolish the Raiders. I think that -6 spread will be an easy cover for the Bears this weekend. Buccaneers at Saints. I think this will actually be a pretty good game. Jameis Winston has showed pretty good flashes so far. His only bad week was actually week 1 against the 49ers, but Jameis Winston looked great last week. But the Saints continue to look great, but you can't win games all the time when you only score 12 points. Saints, I think, are going to come out on top. Zach has the Saints as well, but I think this will be a good game. This honestly could be a trap game for the Saints with the Buccaneers going in last week trapping the Rams. This week they could go into New Orleans and trap them. Next game, Vikings at Giants. This was a tough one for me. I don't know how tough it was for Zach. He took the Vikings. I'm not a fan of Cousins, man. And when your top receiver is complaining that you can't throw in the ball and you're not throwing the ball deep enough, I mean, it creates some turmoil and I just don't know about it. And the Giants, they're undefeated with Danny Dimes. They took control of the Redskins. A couple weeks ago, they came back and had that nice victory. Danny Dimes looks all right. He threw 2 interceptions last game, but I think he's going to come here and take control of that Vikings defense, and I think the Giants come out on top in the Meadowlands for the 3rd victory in a row with Danny Dimes at the helm. So I got Giants. Zach's got Vikings. Next game, Jets, Eagles. This one's pretty easy. Eagles 13.5-point favorites. I honestly think they cover that. Both Zach and I are going Eagles. Next game, Ravens at Steelers. This honestly could be a trap game for the Ravens. 2 losses in a row for them. They sit at 2-2. The Steelers sit at 1-3. Steelers actually look pretty legit. Honestly, their defense is going to keep them in most games, but it comes down to Mason Rudolph and James Conner. James Conner has had an iffy couple weeks. Last week was great on that Monday night showdown against the Bengals. But both of us still got the Ravens. Lamar Jackson's going to be a little too much. That Ravens defense is going to be a little too much for Mason Rudolph. Both of us have the Ravens and the Steel City taking it home. Patriots, Redskins, this one, easy money. Patriots across the board for both me and Zach. I mean, the Patriots look great and the Redskins look awful. Jay Gruden should be out. Probably it could happen midseason, but we aren't really sure. Patriots win that one easy. Cover that 15.5-point spread with ease. Jaguars at Panthers. You know, I originally went with the Jaguars. I love my guy Minshew. And I truly do. I mean, honestly, here's the funny thing. The Jaguars are starting to sell tickets. This game is not at home. But the Jaguars are starting to sell tickets. Now, it's called the Minshew Mania Package. It includes tickets to 2 games, a fake mustache, a bandana, and a photo on the field with those on. And it's just like, wow, I want to do that. I want to fly out to Jacksonville and go do that right now. I already got the mustache, I already got the bandana, but I want to take a picture with Gardner Minshew. That'd be awesome. Anyways, moving back to this game, Panthers, Jaguars. I don't know. I like the Panthers at home. Kyle Allen has given them some sort of spark. Not that Minshew Mania is over or anything like that. But I just think the Panthers are going to be too much. I like the Panthers in this game. Zach's sticking with the Minshew Mania. I respect him for it. I wanted to as well. But I just don't see it work in this game against the Panthers. Panthers got a great defense, got a great running game with Christian McCaffrey. I think the biggest thing for the Jaguars is they need Leonard Fournette to have a big game just like he did last week. Next game, Falcons and Texans. This one is in Houston. Both Zach and I have the Texans. Falcons continue to disappoint, man. I mean, last week we both had them against the Titans. Titans took control of them in Atlanta. I mean, Falcons, man, they're going to have a top 10 pick this year in the draft. I'm calling it right now. They suck. Matt Ryan sucks. The Texans, their offensive line sucks, but Deshaun Watson's amazing. They have DeAndre Hopkins. They have Carlos Hyde now at running back. I think this one, pretty easy win for the Texans. It'll be a good game, I think, just because Texans have a horrible O-line, but I think Texans come out on top on this one. So does Zach. Next game, Broncos at Chargers. The Broncos still set at 0-4. Honestly, they got to move on from Joe Flacco. I brought him in, and he just can't win games in the NFL anymore. I think once Drew Lock, my guy, is back from the IR, I think they should give him a shot because Broncos aren't going anywhere this season. Might as well get your guy some reps, get your future going, and get him ready. I mean, honestly, I see him winning more games than Joe Flacco does this year. But Zach and I both have the Chargers at home in their small stadium that they don't even sell out, but the Chargers still come out with a victory. Next game, this one is going to be a fun one. I think this one honestly should have been a Sunday night game. Anyways, Packers at Cowboys. This one will be a fun one to watch. I mean, the Packers and Cowboys both coming off their first loss. This one is in Dallas. Aaron Rodgers wants to go into Dallas, show Dak Prescott what a good quarterback looks like. But I think Dak Prescott is a great quarterback. This guy was drafted behind Jared Goff. He's played better than Jared Goff. He's proved more than Jared Goff, minus Jared Goff taking the Rams to the Super Bowl. I think Dak Prescott deserves more money than Jared Goff does. That's why I'm taking the Cowboys in this game. Zach agrees with me. I think the Packers are a good team, but the Eagles showed how you can exploit their defense, do things like that. So that's why both me and Zach are going with the boys. Next game, the Sunday night matchup, Colts at Chiefs. This would have been a fun one. They were thinking Andrew Luck versus Patrick Mahomes in this matchup. Obviously, Andrew Luck's no longer playing football. Jacoby Brissett and the Colts coming off that tough loss to the Raiders. But going into Arrowhead, it's tough to beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Not many teams do it. The Chiefs are going to easily roll this one. Patrick Mahomes, after a game without any touchdowns, he's going to throw like 3 or 4. I sure hope he does because he's on my fantasy team. Both Zach and I have the Chiefs. And moving into the Monday night showdown, Browns at 49ers. These are Zach's 2 teams. He can't pick them both, and he did not pick a tie. He went with his number 1 team, the Niners. But this is his Super Bowl matchup that he chose at the beginning of the year. No, I don't see either of them making the Super Bowl. And I can gladly say this without Zach sitting to my right. Both of them, I don't even know if both of them make the playoffs. He obviously would chew my ear off on that, and he'd tell me that the Rams lost to the Buccaneers and the 49ers beat the Buccaneers. Anyways, this game will be a fun one. I think it'll actually be a good game. The Niners are favored by 3.5. I got the Browns, though. I think last week they proved something to the league. They proved that they can actually hang around and play good teams and actually go out and win games. I think they proved that when they played the Rams. Obviously, the Rams aren't looking the best right now, but they went into the dog pound and snagged a dub. But honestly, you have those quick passes. You got guys like Odell and Jarvis Landry, and you got Nick Chubb running the ball. That offense is great. I don't know what Freddie Kitchens is doing against the Rams in that last drive, but they looked great last week. They were unbelievable against those Ravens, and I think they're going to come into San Francisco and show them what an offense looks like, because San Francisco has not played a real offense all year, and the Browns are going to show them how to do it, and they're going to give the Niners their first coveted loss going into that Sunday game when the Niners play the Rams. But, that was our Week 5 picks. Zach and I have 5 different picks. That means this week, unless a tie takes place, there will be a winner. There will be a winner. There won't be a tie between me and Zach. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this. I know it's just me talking the whole entire time. It was kind of tough, but hopefully we'll get our troublemaker Zach back next week. But thank you for listening. Our 9 subscribers, thank you for listening. I hope we can get some more views. I hope we can get some more likes. Give us a like. That guy who keeps giving us dislikes, I dislike you for that. But anyways, thank you guys for listening. This was the Fifth Down Podcast. Horns up, and see you next year for Zach. See you guys later.